Yo, every Wednesday night, you better tune in tight at 7 p.m. CST. We bring in that insight. Halas Hall Report, best podcast in the game. Stats and facts, you'll remember the name. Host Ken Dub got the knowledge on lock. Co-host Woody the Bear fan, talking all that talk. 3 Bear fans chilling, opinions on the side. We're here for the love, riding that Bear pride. Halas Hall, we break it down right. Join us on the journey from day to night. Blue and orange army taking over the scene. 2025's the year, know what we mean. Bear fans unite, it's our time to rise. Sunday mornings, pre-game vibes in the skies. Lions think they're fierce with Dan Campbell's call, but all that greed ain't gonna help them at all. Same old story, we know how it goes. They just can't compete, everybody knows. Minnesota Vikings always talking smack, but when it's game day, they ain't got the knack. Sitting on the couch while we're making a stand. Over here in Chi-Town, we're the best in the land. Halas Hall, we break it down right. Join us on the journey from day to night. Blue and orange army taking over the scene. 2025's the year, know what we mean. Bear fans unite, it's our time to rise. Sunday mornings, pre-game vibes in the sky. Packer fans yell blow pack blow, but can't see the truth. We're stealing the show. Rivalry heated, but we stay real cool. Halas Hall Report, yeah, that's the rule. With every episode, we build that hype. Stats and team news, we got the right type. Fan base strong, we ain't looking back. 2025, it's a winning attack. So gather round fans, put your hands in the air. Every Wednesday night, we're breathing that bear. Join the revolution, watch the magic unfold. Halas Hall Report, we're breaking the mold. Halas Hall, we break it down right. Join us on the journey from day to night. Blue and orange army taking over the scene. 2025's the year, know what we mean. Bear fans unite, it's our time to rise. Sunday mornings, pre-game vibes in the sky. So mark your calendars, don't miss a beat. Every Wednesday night, Halas Hall can't be beat. Stats, facts, team news on deck. Halas Hall Report, what did you expect? 2025, the Bears are here to stay. Blue and orange in the north, leading the way.
Good morning, Bears fans. It is the last Sunday without NFL football. Oh, the offseason's done. The roster is set. We're ready to go. What's up, Woody?
I actually, yeah, a week away. But today, my boys are playing the South Carolina Gamecocks. A lot of upsets yesterday. Let's go Hokies.
Okay, yeah. College did start for those who partake in the college edition of football. I believe it or not, this might be a shocker. I don't watch any college football.
Oh my God, you watch soccer. What the fuck? All right, go ahead.
I haven't even been watching any Bundesliga or any soccer games really to speak of lately either. If it's not NFL, I haven't really been watching it.
Well, if everybody doesn't know, my cousin is Jim Druckenmiller. He played at Virginia Tech and he went pro. So I follow Virginia Tech. It seems like it's college basketball and college football. You see these kids giving their hearts and soul in this sport because they want to make it up to the next level. It's very exciting, college sports.
I mean, look, I'm not going to disagree with that. I know it's very exciting. I think the problem for me with never latching on to a NCAA team is that, well, I just haven't latched onto a team. Like where I live now, it's not like I'm in a college town, let's say, where Bama is like 20 minutes down the road from me or something like that. I mean, Bama's close, so is Auburn, so is FSU, LSU's not far, right? I'm in the middle of all that, but yet where I live, we don't feel that impact. You know what I'm saying? And then I never had a family member or something like that who's playing for one of these teams, so that's why I never. And I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. While the Salukis, we had a pretty decent team, and we've produced a few NFL players in our day, like Jim Hart, who my dad played high school ball with. Not really much to watch. You know what I mean? And growing up in Chicago, you every so often maybe you went to a Northwestern game if they were good, but.
Yeah, I wouldn't follow Bama after yesterday's game. But speaking of Auburn, a guy from Nazareth High School, that's where the receiver from the Redskins, and he got traded. Dotson is the wide receiver. He's at the Eagles now. he's number one prospect. He'll be the quarterback of Auburn next year. But I understand, but we still have room on the Hokie train if you want to join.
So, like, if anything, like, I followed a little bit of Michigan and then Northwestern last year, so my buddy's son played for them. And now he's a wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. So I kind of follow, I'm tracking that. That's just a guy, a buddy of mine from that I served with his son. But yeah, I just never really got full into college. So maybe one day.
That's my fault. I got into college, but onto the NFL.
Yeah. So we got some things, man. Do we want to address the big news in the North first, or we want to just stay at home?
I want to stay home a little bit. Then we'll talk about the Micah Parsons. We got our cuts. We got our 53-man roster. Took a little bit of a hit with Austin Booker being out.
Yeah, we can hit. So this isn't completely updated. The two guys we picked up via the waiver wire aren't on here yet, but that's okay. Mike's a very busy guy, so and he's the one who makes these. So here's the quarterback and running back room, though. As of today, this is correct. Like I said on Wednesday, I'll eat a little crow. I never thought we'd carry three, because basically roughly half the league carries three, the other half doesn't. But you know what, though, Woody, with Case Keenum, I think if push comes to shove and we have to make roster space like midway through the season or so, he's got to be one of those guys in that chopping block who's going to be easy to release. You know what I'm
saying? I was switched. I said that we keep 3 quarterbacks, but I said we keep 4 running backs. So I had it right, but I was you had
it right, but you had it wrong.
Yeah, I had the running backs wrong, but I had the quarterbacks right. Yeah, I believe, like, I go around the league, and if it's not a veteran starting, there's always a veteran backing up for that. He's been in the league. Case Keenum, of course, Minnesota Miracle, right. Minneapolis. I agree with this, and I agree with you. If we need a roster move, maybe Case Keenum is gone. But I am glad that we kept the veteran presence on here for the quarterbacks. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I kind of go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I say yes. I just think it just based on what happens with injuries within the team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But yeah, usually we don't keep 3. I thought we were keeping 3 with Woody, and we were all wrong about the running backs. We all thought Wheeler would make it for sure, especially last year. But they must have been more scared of his injury or something, or know something we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing about the running back room that did surprise me. Is not only did Wheeler didn't even play in the final preseason game, so I took that as a sign. Oh, maybe he's made the roster. No, he didn't even make the practice squad. And then, like, I was wrong, but I was right. I was the inverse of you two. I was wrong in the sense that we keep 3, but I was right in the fact that look at the slot that come from somewhere. Yeah, that slot came from the running back room. That's how they balanced the book, so to speak. I'm okay with the running back room as is, provided Roshan and Kyle are ready to go week 1, which I'm sure they will be. We never really had to go past the 3rd running back last year much to begin with.
Right.
So
this is why I'm sorry to cut you off. This is why I'm fucking pissed. Last night I was listening to the Viking show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we all have fun talking shit and fuck you, this and that. This guy actually said that the Chicago Bears have the worst running roster than anyone in the league.
Who said that?
The guy that was running the Viking show. Colin was there, and I said I was right at the end of, no, it wasn't Rob. It wasn't Rob. It wasn't Chesterton.
Darren?
No, it wasn't Darren. It wasn't Jamez. I never saw the guy before. But anyway, it was on StreamYard, so it's probably on Huddle Sports.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
It was at the end of the show, and I wanted to get on there. I'm saying, hey, you know what? If you didn't have Jordan Mason, you would have shit. So don't go around and saying that the Bears have the worst running attack in the league. They said in the league, not in the North.
Well, they're just being homers, and that's fine. They can do a little trash talk on their show if that's the way they want to go. But I mean, look, I think there's 2 things we know about Swift now, Woody, right? One, that all that bullshit about how, Ben doesn't like him was just bullshit, because Ben's out there professing basically his undying love for the guy. saying how talented he is and all the other beautiful language he used to describe Swift. And then the hurdle, dude, he's the top one of the top 2 or 3 guys in the league as far as breakaway speed.
Yep.
Like him, Pacheco, those guys are like a world of their own. Like if you get them outside and you've contained the edge and give them that hole. I mean, we even saw it last year. The Bears did it a few times, and he's gone 40, 50, 60 yards later. Bye-bye. He's in the end zone.
Right.
The guy's got home run speed.
And we still had the exciting plays when Tariq Cohen was here. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into what else what they said. They said also Ben Johnson hates Caleb Williams as well.
Well, that's but I guess Ben Johnson has to hate someone for these guys to be happy. Right. That's always going to be their narrative. I mean,
I guess how the fuck do they know this? They interview him. They don't say him.
Yeah, they're inside his walls with listening devices, I guess.
But I agree with you, Ken. I like this running room. Swift breakaway speed. Roshan Johnson. Hopefully he's like the 3rd and 2 or goal line, or he wants to just come in. But I'm really excited about Monangai. I really am. Hopefully he stays healthy. Everybody likes him, but I am surprised that Ian Wheeler didn't even make the practice squad. Do we know if he got picked up?
I have not seen his name come across any waiver wires or any kind of signings to date. He has not. All right. Mike, what's interesting to me, though, is Woody just talked about Monangai, and I was going to say this, and I'll let you take first crack at it, because, dude, the Bears have put a lot of faith in Monangai as a 7th-round pick. When you listen to him talk about, they put a lot of faith in this kid, man. I don't know if Mike's there,
but yeah, I'll
go ahead, Woody.
He's a Jersey boy. He went to Rutgers, and obviously, I told you a couple of weeks ago, I met the athletic director from Rutgers, and he says you're going to get a player that doesn't give up, gives 110%, and he has great heart. That's
I love all of that.
That's the 3 things to having a player to make a great player.
I love all of that, plus the fact he doesn't put the ball on the ground. So I'm hoping he becomes a kid that we can run through the pipes. Like, it seems he did a lot of that at Rutgers. He's a run through the pipes kind of kid. And then he's going to get us those tough yards, especially if Roshan can't. I think he's look, if there's going to be a change in the running back room, I hate to say, because I think when we drafted Roshan in the 5th, we stole him. Right. And then we've just never used him. And now maybe it's so far along that he's been, I don't want to say tainted, but it might be too late to do what we need to do. What he, for him to beat his potential, it might be too late. I don't know.
So my question to you is, now you said about Roshan, so I probably got that answer. So if Roshan and Cole Kmet don't break out this year, do you think they're gone next year?
I think they're 2 very different sides of the coin. I think what is determined breakout or keep is different for both.
Okay.
Roshan's bar is a lot higher than I think Cole's is in a certain degree. Because if Monangai becomes the guy that they're always using, then they're going to let Roshan go before they have to pay him, and he'll probably fade away, and someone might give him a shot where he can make a roster, but his career will in effect kind of be somewhat over, right? Cole – well, let's get into Cole next with the wide receivers and tight ends. So here's what we got. 3 tight ends, right? You've got, dude, what's not to like about Loveland? Generational type talent is what people are saying. I don't buy into that whole generational thing, but he's really good, right?
Yeah.
Cole, local kid, has tons of talent. We've never used it. Durham Smythe, actually makes sense for blocking. The wide receiving room, this is as is because we had cut Duvernay, but we signed him back when we had to move some people to IR. We moved Booker to the IR, and we cut we cut another guy. I can't remember.
Major Burns.
No, it wasn't Burns. It was after 53 because we brought him back. But anyways, so when we talk about Cole Kmet,
right?
Okay, I think his bar is not as high as far as what's considered success. I think when you see 2 tight end sets, if he's pulling coverage away from Loveland, that's considered success. If he's catching the ball, making plays, that's obviously considered success. But for Cole Kmet, what he has to do is a lot different than what, say, Roshan does in terms of production.
Right. So, Mike, we were asking about when you were off Mike. What do you think of Monangai? What's your take on that?
it's hard. He's a new back coming in, you know. And yeah, we had Wheeler last year. We thought Wheeler would make it and he would get released, but I don't really know 100% much about the guy, so I can't really give my opinion. But on the Komet thing, I agree with you guys 100%. And if he doesn't do what you were explaining, Ken, we could release him and save $11 million. But his only dead cap is about $3 million. So
no, well, depending on when we draft, if we do it post June 1st, we designate post June 1st, we save 10 and lose like $1 million or $2 million. It's really not that bad.
So,
but with Ben's but with Ben's proclivity, like Cole Kmet next year costs us 11.6 on the cap. If we cut post June 1st next year, we save 10 and he's 1.6 million in dead cap. And considering the Bears this year have the lowest dead cap in the league, which is somewhat amazing for us.
Wow.
I don't know how much Poles wants to play with that. But I mean, look at Ben likes 2 tight end set. And as long as Cole is still a weapon and still produces on any good level, positive level, I think we keep both of them while we can afford to keep both of them. I think where it gets trickier would be 4 years from now when Colson's do a pay raise, and Cole's obviously 4 years older and his contract is up. I think that's more likely when you're more likely to see Cole leave, because if you can have 2 elite-ish, right, tight ends or serious weapon tight ends in a 2 tight end sets that Ben likes to run, I don't see why. Because right now you're basically getting 2 tight ends for the cost of one really, really good one.
Okay, so Ken, my question for you is, I know Ben Johnson likes the 2 tight end set, but when he was there a couple years ago, or last couple years, rephrase that, he favored Laporta, but Laporta is a different breed. So how do you think he's going to use Komet and Loveland to make them have great years and both be on this team next year?
Mike, you want to get that first?
I don't think we got a lot of weapons to spread it out with. I don't think it's going to be like, 1K season. If he doesn't get it, he's going to be gone. You know what I mean? As long as everybody does average and don't do drops,
yeah,
I feel it's going to be good. But just 1 second back to the Komet thing. You said that when it's Loveland's turn to get paid, Komet's going to be long gone because Loveland's contract won't be talked about until about 2029, and Cole Komet's contract ends in 2027.
Right. So yeah, I mean, they might extend him at that point, and maybe he'll cost less money. That's true, Mike. That is true. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. For the next basically 3 seasons, you can have two very nice weapons at tight end for what would cost you to have 1 nice weapon at tight end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's going to cost 11.6 pretty much the whole way.
The whole time.
Yeah. Pretty much averaged.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like his contract stays static, but the cap will keep going up, which is great too, which is another good point for why he might stay. But to answer your question, Woody, about like how Laporta is a different animal. Well, Laporta is the same as Komet. He's the same as Loveland. Like all 3, and Hawk is the same way. These are really good route running, receiving tight ends that do great things with yards after the catch. All 4 of those guys do. And actually, you might be able. Was it Musgrave? Right, the one they like up there in Green Bay. He's kind of in that ilk too. So like all the teams in the division have these tight ends that they can utilize. Now the Bears just failed to utilize their tight end. Right, that's the biggest problem with Komet, because I remember going to the NOLA game 2 years ago and it was all Komet, and when he put up 2 touchdowns quick and the Bears were rolling, they stopped going to Komet. We ended up losing the game because they weren't using him, and so that's I think a difference between. And when Ben was in Detroit, yeah, he went to Laporta, but that's all he had was Laporta. Now he's got 2.
That's my question, because I follow all sports and this is what happens. Too many big name players, too many offensive players. Like, I'm thinking that we have the most weapons than Detroit does.
Yes.
If you guys agree. So how can I put this nicely without fucking snapping?
Why you think of that? Let me say this to you, to what you just said. Yes, the Bears have more weapons on offense, but Detroit. So the Detroit fans don't get all pissy. Detroit probably has the best running back room in the league.
Right.
But after that, then I would say Chicago's better. Yes.
Right. So we have so many named players on this team. Is it possible to spread this ball around to all these weapons? Because it's going to be tough.
Well, I mean, look at the Bulls in the '90s. Look at, like, it was funny because I watched Hard Knocks last night, and two of the minority owners are NBA Hall of Famers, and their coach sat down with them, and he said, tell me about the best teams you were around. He's like, everyone just knew their role and stayed within their role, and even though they know they could do more to contribute, they stayed within their role. I think it doesn't matter how many big name players, if everyone stays within their role and does their job and just their job and doesn't try to do someone else's job to do more, then yeah, Woody, you can. And actually, I know there are some players like, give me the rock, but DJ Moore has already shown that kind of attitude. Like, look, I want the rock, but if you can get it to my teammates and we can win games and I can be the distraction, I'm cool with that. And that's the mentality that we need out of these guys. I think if we're winning games or we're competitive, they don't care that they only get maybe 10 targets versus 20 targets. It doesn't matter. As long as we're winning games, I don't think they care.
Right. But you know what I'm saying, though? There's a lot of weapons on this team. And to all the Vikings fans on the show last night, this was another subject. The Bears aren't putting DJ Moore at fucking running back, okay? They just, oh my God. I wanted to get on that show last night, and Ken, Mike, you guys know me. I'm a very emotional, sensitive person, and I wanted to go in and just fucking snap. So I wanted to get that off, that DJ Moore is not a running back, okay? But I understand what you're saying. I'm just looking for the answer because you guys are talking about Loveland's contract and stuff. There are some players being traded while they're in their rookie contract too. So that was my other question. If Kmet breaks out the next 2 years, or like you said, keep, and Loveland's like,
right.
It
gives them flexibility for sure. I mean, that's what. Look at. I mean, how often do we have that kind of flexibility where we could do that? I mean, there's a certain flexibility that we now have that maybe we didn't have. Because we've always had, like, the problem, like, every year, guys, every year it's like, oh, well, Kmet's our guy. Okay, we know he's a guy, but who's tight end 2 and 3? And this year we don't have that. And, like, really, the guy we kept in the practice squad, Carlson, you can make, you could probably make a squad somewhere too. I'm surprised he's still on our practice squad, to be honest with you.
We had a lot of nice tight ends in this preseason. Carlson, Wilson, I like, but they released him. So what are the odds of Carlson, coming up? Like, are you happy with the starting 3, even though Smythe's a blocking?
Yeah, that's why. And Smythe played with Kmet at Notre Dame, if I remember correctly, too. So there's that. No, I think, and Kmet. And here's the one thing about Kmet too. It's interesting. Over the last 2 years, he's really improved as a blocker because he's had to. Kind of how, like, last year Swift improved going through the pipes because he had no choice but to get better. Because that was the big complaint about him last year. Oh, you're running through the middle, you can't find the hole. He got a lot better at that throughout the year, and I think Cole Kmet's gotten a lot better at the blocking piece and is more of a complete tight end than he was before. I think Carlson, though, is a great guy that they can bring up if an injury should happen. Unless someone else poaches him, he's a great guy to have in our hip pocket in case something happens.
All right. So we're all happy with the tight ends, and so I wanted to talk about the receivers. Yeah, I am.
Let me bring that back up.
I am very happy, and people might call me crazy. Devin Duvernay.
Yeah.
We were talking on Wednesday. Who the fuck is going to return our kicks?
Yep, there he is. He's back.
He's back. Now we have to worry about a long snapper, don't we?
No, he's back too.
Okay, gotcha. So
it's no longer Cole Kmet.
All of our answers are. All our questions are answered because we had a question about long snapper and Duvernay. Duvernay had a nice preseason too. I like him. I liked him when he was in Baltimore, and I'm excited to see him on the kickoff and punt returns and stuff. Zacchaeus, he He had a good, and we all know about Walker. So I think we're right on the point with the receivers that we're keeping. Before the 53-man roster.
Zacchaeus kind of had a resurgence because he's been in the league now. This is the seventh season. Yep. He had a pretty nice season with Washington.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm really surprised they didn't sign him. But I mean, Jahadi Walker is a guy I want to talk about. Another undrafted free agent rookie that the Bears have found. And look at the undrafted free agent rookie is definitely becoming a bigger thing in the NFL over the last couple of years. But man, this kid, he can make the toe taps. He can make those tough catches. And look at people say, oh, but it was against the 3s and 4s. But yeah, those balls Bagent put out there, first off, were perfect balls that only he put it where only his receiver could get. And I don't care if you're against the 1s or the 4s, those balls that Bagent threw up, the result would have been the same no matter who it had been, the 1 or the 4. They were put only where he could get them, and he made phenomenal catches to make not only himself but Bagent look good. The kid's got a lot of talent, and I think they hit a home run with this kid. And if you think about it, going back, let me throw that back up. Here's the thing: we all assumed that Luther Burden III would be the 3rd guy in the depth chart.
Yep.
He might be the 4th or 5th guy in the depth chart in all reality at this point. Zach Ayers might be 3, and Jahadi Walker, man, he may have bumped himself up a bit too. I mean, this wide receiving room is the deepest wide receiving room I've ever seen in the Bears have. And I said that last year. Remember, I said that last year because we had Keenan. I think this is deeper talent-wise and has more ability than any wide receiving room we've ever seen in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this offense because you can have your 3 receivers in and the 4th one coming in doing an end around, double reverse and stuff like that. But listen, the amazing thing about Walker, though, a rookie with that toe tap, remember, college, you got to have 1 foot in.
Woody, you know what's funny? I was thinking the exact same thing you were saying when I was watching. I watched the game live, and I watched on NFL Network a couple days later with the Kansas City announcers. And as he made that catch, I was like, man, that's a hell of a job because in college, I thought the same thing, Woody. The kids got great awareness. They looked out. Again, like the scouting department would find these guys in smaller schools that went undrafted and knowing to go get them.
Yeah, my thing I'm excited about is I'm excited to see the 2-0 plus. I think the Bears are going to have average 20 plus points. When was the last time? I know like 18, 15 points a game with a
probably it was probably Cutler's the Gacy Cutler year.
Yeah.
When we had number 2 offense in the league, but the worst defense. I mean, and that had a really good offense, but even then we only had really 2 really good receivers. We weren't this deep.
So if this offensive line works out, this offense is going to be fucking exciting. So let's talk about that.
And there's your offensive line. And look, let me the starting 5 right now looks to be Braxton Jones, right at left tackle, with Tooney next to him. And then you're going to have our new center, Dahlman at the center. And then you're going to have at right tackle, of course, Darnell Wright. And then you're going to have Jonah Jackson at right guard. And we have not seen Tooney at all in the preseason. But the guy, what's impressive, and I think that Braxton is going to be more than good at left tackle with Tooney there. But what impresses me is that we have depth. Curran, much improved over last year. Ryan Bates is kind of like a holdover, but he's a good, he was always a good rotational guy. But here's a guy, Trapillo really was quiet during camp. Luke Newman and Theo Benedict, those are the 2 guys to watch. You want to talk about 2 guys that really add a lot of depth.
Right.
Those 2. And last year we were like, okay, we knew what the starting lineup we wanted to have, but then there was injuries and guys went straight to the IR. Dude, we're coming into the season with the entire offensive line healthy. And we actually have depth, which is something you and I talked about during the summer shows a lot. Like, what's our depth going to look like? Dude, we've got depth.
That's my cousin. I love you, Joe. What the fuck? But yeah, I like this offensive line. Okay. Welcome, Bear Down Mike. What's going on? So
Mike.
we're
What's up,
talking
guys?
about the offensive line.
Yeah.
How Ken just said our probable starters. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's probably going to be the starters. Just probably the first maybe 6 weeks until they see what Braxton really has. Is he going to revert back to his old ways? You know, in practice they say he gets everything down right, but when he goes to games, he just reverts back to his old ways, and that's what the offensive line coach said.
So about Braxton Jones, hopefully he doesn't get into the holding and fucking off full starts and stuff.
Well, but I think
What do you-
of that. I think Woody a lot of that last year though with him because his flags and his flags went up last year, right? But I think a
Right.
lot of that was because of what was next to him on the line, and he, when you have to constantly worry about, oh God, do I got to try to take two? Do I have to shift because this guy can't handle it?
Right.
I mean that's a lot of it. Now you've got arguably one of the top two guards in the league next to you. He should have that. Those worries should be gone.
Right. I like this is the first time in years, and you can tell me when the last time, and I'll go to Bear Down Mike. We had depth on this offensive line. When was the last time we had depth?
Yeah, maybe when Owen Cruz was playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Cutler years. No, I would say Cutler years. Cutler years, we had some depth.
Well, it all depends on Caleb recognizing the defense and changing the protection. He's
And
got to
not holding the
recognize
ball.
that.
Not holding the ball either, because I said this stat on Wednesday: 28 of his 68 sacks last year. Obviously, the most sacked quarterback in the league. 28 sacks is when he was holding the ball over 5 seconds.
There's a weird dichotomy with him, though. Real quick, I'll let you go after this. But there's a weird dichotomy though with Caleb with that because while he had the most with the length, he also had one of the quickest release times as well. He was like
Right.
He's either super quick or he holds it too long. There's no in between. It's like he's gone in 2.1 seconds, or it's a 7-second if the play breaks down. And he did take a sack where he held the ball too long in the preseason that way. But that's probably because the play broke down more so than and not that there was no one open and he was trying to make something happen. He's got to stay away from that during the regular season. Go ahead.
Yeah, playing the hero ball instead of taking the check downs.
Right.
Taking the easy plays and giving what the defense shows you. Play's not open, check it down. Find another day.
When Caleb did play, I recognized the one play, and could be because it's preseason. He tried to throw double coverage to a Dunze when he had Swift wide open.
Open. They only needed 5 yards too.
Yeah, they can clear that up. That's where they make mistakes in the. And
too though, here's the other thing too with those kinds of plays. We're going to see that kind of stuff during the regular season, but so he scanned, and maybe when he scanned for Swift wasn't there, or he was obstructed as far as the view. Maybe there's a body in front of him, but he sees Rome, so he made his mind up to go to Rome. And then Swift breaks free, but he's already in the motion of going to Rome. That's going to happen too.
Look at that. My wife just brought me some lunch too.
There you go.
He's got to have trust in his guys. He's got to know where they're at.
Well, no, I get that, Mike. But I mean, what I'm saying is, when we see things, the angle and view from which we see things as a fan watching the game is different than the on the field angle. So as far as he knows, Swift is nowhere to be found because maybe his view is completely obstructed of Swift. But he can see Rome. He's like, I can put the ball there. And he has faith in Rome that he goes, I can put the ball where only Rome can get it. And maybe 9 out of 10 times, that's right, Billy. 9 out of 10 times, maybe that's a reception. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I get that. We'll see how that plays out. Back to point, dude, this offensive line, and we haven't even seen Tooney play yet. In the preseason, we were seeing his backup, the guy who's going to be his backup. Really, we saw a lot of Luke Newman.
Yep.
Right, and Luke Newman looked good. So, I mean, I'm more confident in this O-line now than I've been in years. Hey, good morning.
I'm going to say this: we're going to have a great running game. I think Swift is going to change his tone. He's going to find those holes.
So real quick. I mean, we got that. We've covered the offense. Let's cover the defense a little bit. Here's the defensive line. This is mostly current. The one linebacker that we signed is not on here. That's fine. And then we've also lost for at least until after the bye week. We've lost Austin Booker to the IR with some kind of leg injury. But here's the roster as it stands. Like I said, there's one or two small changes. Nothing major though.
I like it.
Dude, and you know what? Here's the other thing: we have not seen Grady Jarrett on the field yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think your starting four is going to be Dexter Jr. or Senior. I'm sorry, Dexter Senior and Jarrett in the inside, and Dio and Montez on the outside. There's your starting four, right? Which means a guy who was a starter last year is now in your second rung, which is interesting. And the linebacking core, tell me Noah Sewell did not really just like Tremaine might be gone. And his big
and Hippolyte. You know, yep. I gave when we did our draft grades, I gave that one a D. I might if he shows and you know before the bye week that when he comes in, fills in, and he does heck of a job. Yeah. I fucked up. But I agree about Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, there's some depth here that if he doesn't, I'm going to use the word, Ken. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Break out this year. He's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, because Sewell against Miami ones wrecked them. He wrecked the Miami ones in week 2 of the preseason. And you know what? Look at this is the Sewell that we thought we drafted, who's been hurt every year. He's actually healthy this year, as he's making Edmonds that big contract. Look, if these guys, if Hippolyte and Sewell show up, if we could do a post June 1st designation on Tremaine Edmonds, right, for next year for 26, we are going to save a crap load of money. And don't tell me they're not looking at that. If we cut him, make him a post June 1st designation, we'll save $15 million on the cap, and we'll only take a $2.4 million dead cap. Next year, by the way, our dead cap is only $530,000 right now for Zach Pickens and Tyler Scott, respectively. So, I mean, he could make Tremaine Edmonds. Both those guys can make Tremaine Edmonds go bye-bye.
Well, I got a question for Bear Down Mike, and I just fucking lost it too. You son of a bitch. Oh, my question was preseason. Sorry, guys, I'm fucked up today. Preseason. We seen TJ Edwards play. Last game. Why don't you think Tremaine Edmonds didn't play? Give me your
single snap the entire preseason.
Give me your opinion on that, Mike.
I don't think he was as healthy for the preseason games, so I think he was just taking it easy.
He's one of those guys with this depth that if the Bears, because look, we don't have much in cap. I think we got $15 million for this year. Oh, I'm sorry, no, we have $1.5 million in cap space right now. That's it, right? That is it. He is a guy though at the trade deadline that can be used in a trade deadline to free up cap space to acquire something else we need if the other guys are playing well.
My question is that what if he reconstructs his contract next year? Do we keep him still?
Let's see how productive he is.
If they restructure, Tremaine Edmonds, if we restructure his contract this year, we save $6.8 million. If we restructure it next year, we save $0 for a restructure.
Make it or break it season for him.
That's over the cap. Yeah. So, but he's a guy who we could definitely use in a trade. But yeah, I'd say with the depth, he's on the block.
If you're gonna put him up for a trade, then we need an edge.
Yeah, I don't want to see him go because of course he's a Hokie.
Mike, I wouldn't say that right now because by the time the trade deadline comes, who knows what we'll need. We might not need an edge. So we have to kind of wait and see what we're going to need at the trade deadline.
Dennis Allen is banking on Deo to turn out to be this great stud at the end.
He might. So, here's a defensive back. So I want to make sure we get everything in before we run out of time. There is one add, and that's we added another Jones here. Jalen Jones got added. But this are our defensive backs, our corners, and our safeties. I worry about the cornerback depth. I think keeping only 4 safeties is fine. The 4 safeties we have, none of which under contract next year. But honestly, I can see all 4 being re-signed. Of course, Byard, the old man, but he doesn't seem to be slowing down. So if Byard keeps playing at the level he's playing at, the Bears will extend him, I think. I think the Bears will also re-sign Jonathan Owens. Honestly, I think all 4 safeties could get re-signed. Brisker, if he's healthy, will definitely get re-signed. My biggest problem right now is Jalen Johnson. Is he healthy and ready to go? And then the other one is Kyler Gordon, is Spider-Man ready to go because he didn't play at the end of the preseason. Both those guys are dinged up.
I just hope Jalen Johnson comes back. With Terrell Smith's injury, I'm not keen on this right guy. So that's all I got.
Smith is on the IR for the season because of torn patellar ligament. So
I would assume they're both going to play with what's his name? Jalen Johnson, and what's Spider-Man's name?
Gordon.
Yeah, Kyler Gordon. I would expect them to play for the first week.
Yeah, I would expect them to be back for week 1, which is the problem is like how healthy are they and the depth is my only concern at the quarterback position.
Even if they're both at like 80%, they're still better than most of the players in the fucking league.
Well, Ken, I have a question for you for week 1. Who covers JJ?
JJ.
And JJ.
If Jalen Johnson is healthy
if he's not back, it depends. If he's not back, then it'll be Kyler Gordon.
I don't want Tyreek Stevenson near him.
No, he'll taunt the crowd. That's what he's doing week 1.
Special teams, this is correct. Santos, Taylor, and Daly, that is correct. Daly, of course, with Taylor's long snapper in college, so that's always nice. You get that college teammate synergy back. I'm fine with Santos. Look, he hit that 57-yarder. And then he missed an easy one, though, in the last preseason game.
You missed 2.
Yeah, so I'm fine, though, with Chris Santos, man, like, the dude solidified the kicking position for us when we were in disarray after the 18 debacle. He did at the end of the year last year. All of us were like, they need to either bring in a kid who can bang it from 60, or he needs to hit the gym, and they did both. Right? The Bears brought a guy in, and Santos hit the gym. Tremaine Edmonds, though, 27 years old, 100 tackles every year. He just needs to.
You know what I like to see, Ken, is like these players, like Santos, for example, when they brought Lynn in, says, "Hey, we're bringing another kickoff specialist in." That put a fire in their ass. So with all these linebackers coming in, like Hippolyte, Sewell breaking out on the preseason, maybe this will put a little fire in Tremaine Edmonds' ass.
Hey, I gotta go, guys.
All right, bud. Good seeing you.
Have a good one.
Well, it might be fire his ass a little bit, but like Ken said, like I've liked Edmonds. Like you want him to do better. Like how can he do better in coverage? Like every year he has 100 tackles, damn near leads the team every year.
Well, TJ Edwards does.
You know what though, Mike? I think here's a problem. I think people see Edwards and not Edmonds on the field that way. Like they see Edwards make the big plays, and Edmonds is doing the yeoman's work, right? He's doing the hard work that people don't see. But his contract is so big, comparatively speaking. That's why the comparison gets strong. Because if you look at like Edmonds, his base salary this year is 13.9, right? But Edwards is 8.2. So people see that over $5 million a year difference. Like, why? Because they see Edwards, they don't see Edmonds as much. So it's one of those things where the fans don't recognize maybe all that he does.
Maybe,
but now
we can compare contracts all day. Like some contracts on a defensive edge is more higher than the highest paid fucking quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's what, Mike, that's what people see. They see Edwards making pass deflections and bigger plays than what say Edmonds does. And you're not wrong, is what I'm saying. You're not wrong. Edmonds makes a lot of the dirty plays that people don't see. That he does the dirty work. He's in there. He's a lunch pail guy, right? You don't see what he does necessarily, right? Like you do Edwards. But now you got guys like Sewell and Hippolyte coming up. They're doing the exact same thing and cost literally $30 million less or $10 million less or whatever, $15 million less. And you can replace that workload.
Well, I think Tremaine Edmonds is good. He gets interceptions. He's good in coverage, falling back and stuff like that. But you got to think, though, like you said before, Ken, I think TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, that contract should be fucking switched, really, because TJ Edwards is bleeding in tackles for the last 2 years.
But I think what Mike is saying, I somewhat agree with him, is perception versus reality. The perception is that that's what it should be, but the reality is he's doing a lot of work that people just don't see because he's always leading the team in tackles. Edmonds does a lot of stuff that we don't see and makes it so that Edwards looks good. And they are a great pair together. My counter, though, to Mike on that to a degree is this, and I already said that if Sewell it can do the exact same thing, but he costs $10 million a year less, that makes Edmonds more of a possibility to be released at the end of the year.
Yeah, but realistically, money isn't the topic because you literally can swivel around money with the loopholes that the NFL has in their system, which I'm always against. Whatever money is spent, no matter if it's signing bonus or not, should go against the cap.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we talk about money every year, but at the end of the year or at the end of the day, money just gets shuffled around. Contracts get redone. Here, we'll give it to you on a signing bonus. It just depends on the owner, really. You know what I mean? I've been saying that from day one needs to be switched. It's crazy how there's a loophole in a salary cap.
And look at the way we've structured that, and look at the way Poles has structured everything and built this roster. He's been very good with the cap. And there's room and there's room to maneuver with the cap, and he's done a really good job with it. So I agree with you, Mike. But I mean, if we do get to that point where, hey, we can get Trey Hendrickson here next year, but we have to maybe make a move. But Sewell has played really well, or Hippolyte's coming on. Tremaine Edmonds is low hanging fruit to save $15 million. If you got a guy that can replace him and save you the money, and now you can go and let's say Dot, like put it this way, let's say Dio does not work out as the edge they thought he was going to be, and while Booker may be the next coming, you could get on a 1 or 2 year deal next year, Kyle Hendricks, and he's still there, and he's worth the 30 mil, but you need to free up 15. Well, later Edmonds, you see what I'm saying? So he's probably more than his contract. Puts him on kind of a bubble in that regard.
So my question is now what you said this before, what would the Bears be saving if we trade Edmonds at the trade deadline this year?
If we trade him at the deadline, let me look at the trade. So this would be trade post June 1st. All right, so if we trade Edmonds, we have $15 million, depending on what we bring back. So
and
that's
then if we don't trade him,
if we don't, we just pay him. His cap number is 17 mil for the year. So I mean, and if you go for 2026, looking at the same thing, that let's say we trade him pre-June 1st, like before the draft, right? We would save 15 million. If it's post June 1st, it's 16 million. Or no, I'm sorry, it's still 15 million. If we cut him, right? If we cut post June 1st, oh yeah, it's 15 million. If we cut pre June 1st, oh, guess what? It's 15 million. So like, if you need 15 million, he's the easy guy. He's the easy guy. If these other guys in the linebacking core have brought their play up and make him expendable in that way. So I agree with Mike, but then again, if you have a shot with say getting a big time edge rusher, if we still need that, him and Kmet are really the two biggest contracts we could move next year. And Kmet's 11 million, and then Edmonds. But I think Edmonds is more. Well, it's Edmonds, Kmet, and Swift. So Edmonds can save us 15 mil, Kmet 8.4, and these are pre-June 1st, and Swift 7.5. But to be honest with you, Swift's contract is more than worth it for the level of running back he is. And Kmet, because of the system, may be unmovable in that for us, to us at least. Edmonds
and
would be
on the roster for 2026, Edmonds would be the 4th highest player, Komet 7th,
correct.
and Swift 8th.
Correct.
So I could see it.
Yeah. Now we got about 10 minutes left, and we have to I know we really don't like to talk about the other teams much, but we have to talk about what happened in Green Bay, and we have to give them some credit because, okay, first off, when we heard they made the offer of 2 firsts, a second, and a 5th, dude, that's the biggest offer we've ever had they've made since they tried to get Khalil Mack. When we offered the exact same thing they did, and then we got the trade and they didn't. The last time they had a trade like this was probably back in the 70s or 80s, and it didn't work out too well for them. This is not a team that makes these kinds of big acquisition trades often. If you look in the last year and a half, since last year's offseason, the Packers have changed their DNA. They went after McKinney. They went after Jacobs, signed the big money. They drafted a wide receiver for the first time in 2 decades in the first round this year. And now they make this big trade. How does this trade affect the Bears / the division, this Micah Parsons trade to them? I'll go to Woody first, and we'll work our way around the horn.
I'm sorry, guy. I know one player does not make this team, and I am scared of Minnesota, and I'm not keen on Detroit because of the new coaches and stuff like that, and the Bears and stuff. I think Green Bay and Minnesota is now going to be fighting for this division win because all Jordan Love has to do is manage this team. A lot of nice young receivers. Josh Jacobs, a good running back. With him and Gary on the defense, Green Bay is a very scary team in this division. They're going to be fighting for Minnesota for this division. That's my opinion.
What do you think, Mike?
I agree. It definitely helped them out for sure. Usually one player don't matter, but the only thing that they lost a little bit on is their run defense. But Micah Parsons can still fill that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because he can play defensive end and linebacker.
Yeah, so the Packers gave up Kenny Clark, and it came out later that Jerry Jones targeted Kenny Clark because of his run defense ability. And they believe addition by subtraction is what Dallas said. Their run defense got better. Yes, their pass rush took a little bit of a hit, but they'll still be good, they think. But the run defense got improved. For Green Bay, I don't think this trade impacts them within the division as much because Micah, while he's a phenomenal pass rusher, his run defense has never been the greatest. And unfortunately, every team in the North has a good running back room. And I think this trade really impacts Green Bay in terms of if they can stop the run on you, you're pass. If you have to just pass on them, you're done because they have a phenomenal pass rush now with Gary. Gary will be improved, obviously, now. And you add Micah. So their pass rush is going to be really good. It's going to test some offensive lines for sure. And if you just have to drop back and pass and haven't established the run, I think they can murder you. But if you can establish the run on Green Bay, then the trade does nothing for them because if you can establish the run, now you got play action at pass and play because you're going to have to back off the box a little bit. And so it's it's one of those things that helps them in that overall for sure. But it's only if they can contain the run and they make it so that teams can now establish a good run game. If teams have to pass, they're in trouble, and that this will protect them big time on that. And does fit the thing that Packer fans have been crying about. We need a pass rush. Well, you've got it now, and I think it's very smart. I think what Woody said about Jordan Love. This now puts the onus even more on Jordan Love now than it did before. He already had a little pressure on to prove he was worth the $55 million because he didn't prove it last year. And there are even some Green Bay fans like, okay, we love the guy, he's our guy, but he wasn't worth the 55. Now he really has no choice but to prove it. Like, this is almost, if it was a make or break, it really is a make or break now for him. He's got to show the onus on him now to carry this offense and to put points on the board with the defensive addition that they've made. And if Green Bay struggles offensively, then I could see them starting to look for a replacement for Jordan Love as early as next year.
So my opinion is about Micah Parsons. Everybody knows what I think about Penn State players, but we won't go there. I respect Micah Parsons because there's a lot of these players that they say demand a trade and they're offered money, contract, and they stay with the team. He stuck to his fucking guns, and Dallas gave him offered him a great contract, but he did not want to be there. He wanted to go somewhere I respect Micah Parsons for sticking to his guns.
Yeah, and before anyone says, "Oh, he's a
process for the trade," Micah Parsons wasn't even talking to Jerry Jones. It was literally all his manager.
Well, and two things about this trade, I guess. One is that trade was done a week before it actually got announced because it took about a week for them to get the contract with Green Bay straight. So Jerry agreed to this trade a week prior. So when Jerry did all that talking on the radio, he had already agreed to the trade, and it was just Green Bay and Micah's folks trying to get the contract. Now, the other thing on this trade is it is a net positive for Green Bay, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people were saying, "Oh, he was cancer locker room." People in Dallas thought that he didn't like playing football as much; he'd given up on it. I think that's a crap argument. So don't Bears fans make that argument, because here's the thing too: he's now with a new team who he knows obviously wants him. Made a big trade to get him. All that like stuff about him, being a cancer goes away because now he's happy, right? The guy is obviously going to be happy now. So I think that goes away, and Green Bay's going to get a guy in the locker room is going to be a net positive, not a net negative. Like I said, though, the thing for Green Bay is this division is an arms race. Green Bay saw, and Gutekunst rightfully saw, that his team was falling behind in the arms race that is the NFC North. They probably had the least talented team overall on talent level. They addressed that in a big way. The receivers still, they have a bunch of them that have concrete hands, but Golden seems to have good hands. So they've still got some questions like all the other teams in the North do, but this was a big answer for them at the edge, at the pass rush. So net positive for them. I just don't know, in the arms race that is the NFC North, I will still tell you, flip a quarter who's going to win this division, flip a quarter who's going to be in last. Because this division is going to be super tough all the way around from top to bottom.
Yeah, like I said, I think Green Bay and Minnesota are going to be fighting for this division now, because I know only one player doesn't help. But hold
on a second, Woody. Robert, first off, you're wrong, because they already said the trade had been agreed to a week earlier, and there was the reason it didn't get announced when it was announced was because they did the contract. So they made the trade about a week beforehand, and then Green Bay and Micah's people had to work the contract out. And once they got the contract ready to go, then they announced a trade with the NFL. So in terms, yes, Dallas agreed to that trade about a week prior. And it was just a matter of getting Micah's contract done with Green Bay. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Woody.
The only thing I mean, hats off to Green Bay. You went out, you get the player that you need, stuff like that. Hats off to you. You just upgraded your team massively on defense. Only thing I didn't respect about Micah is when he was on Dallas, his last preseason game, he was laying on the bench with his street clothes. But he knows he's good. He knows a team will pick him up. Hats off to Green Bay. Congratulations.
Yeah. They made, look at all the credit to Green Bay. They actually made a great move for them. Look at the DNA in Green Bay is changing. The arms race that is the NFC North has definitely changed.
Yeah, if Jordan Love can manage his team, Green Bay's a scary team.
The sad part is, because it's the NFC North, it'll get no love from Fox, ESPN, and everyone else because the coast bias, whatever. But this division is really freaking good from top to bottom.
Yep.
Really freaking good from top to bottom.
Yep.
And we'll talk about. All right, Robert, whatever. You know everything. Forget. Packer fans know everything, everyone. Forget what's being reported or what's being said by agents and everything. Robert Bertana knows all. On that note, next week we got football. We'll be on at the same time. We'll do Wednesday and we'll do Sunday as normal. We'll probably we'll do some North predictions. We'll talk about the games next week. Guys, football's here.
Is Mike listening now? I was going to say he can. We'll do that Wednesday then, about the score predictions and stuff like that.
Yeah, we got a few seconds left. Mike, why don't you close us out with that, and then we'll call it a day.
Yeah, every week during game day, there'll be a post on my page, Chicago Bears News. If you choose the correct score, the first person that chooses the score correctly will win signed memorabilia with COA and everything.
You have my address, Mike.
There we go. So we'll see you guys back here Wednesday night. Don't forget Kennecan in the morning every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Central. And we'll be back here Wednesday at 7 p.m. and next Sunday at the same exact time. Thank you everyone for watching today. Enjoy your weekend, and NFL football starts next week. Have a great one. Bye.
Go Hokies.